Hey, hello, I'm Kråkan, also known as Corvus Cornix, and welcome to Class Movie Rambles, where I'll talk about all the movies that I found in my class while cleaning. This week's movie is Akira Kurosawa's Dreams, or more, or especially the episode, The Tunnel. And this movie was made in the 1990s, and it's a collection of Akira Kurosawa's dreams, and the Tunnel episode is about 18 minutes long. And the episode starts with a man walking down a dirt road, and he comes in contact or in front of a tunnel, and there is this dog approaching him from the tunnel that starts to bark at him, really demonic sounding, and it has like an ammo belt or like a grenade belt attached to him. So he passes the dog and he goes into the tunnel and he arrives at the other side. And when he arrives at the other side, there's like a red tint, and he returns to look back and he sees a dead soldier, like a ghost, an apparition, and he recognized the man to be a former soldier in his company. He's in fact a commander from the war. I think it's the Second World War, I think. And the soldier thinks that he is alive, but the commander says, "No, you died in my arms," or something like that. And then the soldier walks out of the tunnel. He points to a light in the distance, and he says, like, "There is where my parents lived. They left the light on for me. My mom and dad is waiting for me." And the commander regretfully tells him that he's dead, and he sadly walks back into the tunnel. And then soon enough, there's like a whole marching army arriving on this other side of the tunnel. Of course, they're dead as well, and they're like an entire platoon of soldiers. And they stop and they salute the commander, and he's frightened. He was so at the first encounter with the other ghosts as well. And he's actually kind of dumbstruck. And the platoon leader informs the commander that they took no casualties, but then commander kind of tells him that you were completely and utterly annihilated. And he basically sent his own troops into death, and he is regretful about this. He got captured by the enemy and he was tortured, and he basically tells them that he feels their pain and everything, but there's really nothing he can do about it. So what he does is he buttons up his shirt and he stands up straight, and he tells them to turn around and march back. And that's exactly what they do, because they're soldiers. And he salutes them, and a trumpet start playing in the background, and he falls to his knees, and the kind of footstep kind of dissipates into the tunnel. And then the dog returns and he starts to bark again, and the whole thing gets a red tint and it fades to black. So what do I think about this movie? I like it. It's awesome. I like Akira Kurosawa as a filmmaker, and he has a lot of... If you think about it like this, it's a lot of visual storytelling. When you look at a character and you see by the acting, you know how he's feeling, you know what he's thinking, and it crosses over the language barriers. So you don't even have to know a lot about Japanese to understand what's going on. So that's what I like about him. And the whole idea of this whole movie, not just this episode of The Tunnel, is that Akira Kurosawa had a couple of dreams that always were reoccurring, and he got a chance to make a movie about it. So I think there's 6 or 8 episodes. The first 2 deals with a young boy and some Japanese folklore, and there's like a weird marching cult, and I think it's called yokai, like spirits. And the third episode is about a group of guys climbing a mountain in like a snowstorm, and they reach a camp, and that's about it. And the third one is the tunnel, and the fourth one was kind of cool because it's about a guy, like a Japanese painter, and he goes to look at pictures of Van Gogh, the painter, and he gets trapped in like the painting, and he goes to visit Van Gogh as he paints. And the brilliant thing about this is, I think it's called like Francis Ford Coppola or something. It's actually playing Van Gogh in like heavy makeup, and it's a brilliant like form of storytelling. But where this movie really shines is the last episode, and I will not spoil it, but just go watch it because it's worth it. It's on YouTube for free. I don't know why or how this is possible, but that's how I viewed it, and I completely forgot about this movie, and I was like, it's a good movie, so go watch it. It's really a good lesson in how a lot of movies should be made practically, I think, because CGI is kind of overused these days, and these movies are more or less always practical. So yeah, thank you for listening and or watching, and take care.